Look, I was excited to be back on the court. I haven't competed for over 5 weeks, and I was a bit rusty in the first set. Um, was kind of waiting for him to do something with the ball rather than doing it myself, and that resulted in a very close first set, and I was fortunate to get through that one. I thought I opened up the match with 2-3 comfortable service games. And then, credit to him for serving well and taking the ball on the rise and just dictating the play. He was the one that was really aggressive and dictating, the points from back of the court for the entire first set probably. So, as I said, fortunate to get through that one. Obviously I was more relaxed in the second and played better.
Richard?
Now, he took a set off you when you last played,
Mm-hmm.
didn't he? And so were there any similarities in that?
Yeah, I remember that match, but I don't know. I mean, it's been many years ago, and it's kind of hard to say whether that has affected him or me. But maybe it gave him more, I guess, strength and confidence, knowing that he took the set out of me in this very court. And he came out firing, credit to him, really. He played well, had nothing to lose, served well, played, I thought his backhand was terrific, was picking it on the rise. And, on my end, as I said, the first set was just hanging on to the ropes and trying to, win that set. And then the second set was, obviously, with my first set under my belt, was slightly better, and I ended up the match in a positive fashion.
Since there was a board meeting a few days ago, I was wondering if you have any idea when you'll be able to make an announcement on the new venue for the ATP finals, and whether all the cities that were announced as candidates at the beginning of the year are still in contention.
Well, I'm not really 100% sure on that, because the board decides. I'm part of the player council, so we do discuss, but then, it's up to our board representatives under the system and structure to really decide, what they vote. And most of the cases, they obviously follow what majority of the council feels like, but at times on some big issues we're divided, and so we let the board representatives take the lead. So as I understand, there are several cities that are in the contention for the World Tour finals. London is still one of them. I think it's Tokyo and a couple other cities, I think Turin and Singapore. So we'll see. I mean, obviously it's not that simple to decide. Tournaments sides of ATP have to also feel comfortable with that. It is the biggest event that ATP owns, so the choice has to be well thought, and of course it's going to affect ATP as a whole in many different levels.
You said you haven't played for 5 weeks in the tournament, and you've also decided to play less tournaments 2019.
Yeah.
How would that affect you when going into tournaments? After Miami, for instance, I think you have 4 or 5 weeks also off. Is that more difficult, or why do you have to choose that strategy?
Well, look, I also want to spend time with my family. For me at this stage of my career, it's it's balancing between the two. I can't prioritize only myself and my career. I got to think about my children, my wife, and and that's fine. Because I want to focus myself on the biggest events. I started off the season in the best possible way, so I really want to try to get the most out of Indian Wells and Miami. And after that, we'll see. I live in Monaco, so Monaco tournament would be nice to play it. I mean, I would like to play it, but at the same time, it depends on different things. And moving forward, obviously, schedule is pretty much the same. I mean, most of the years, I would play the Real Madrid events, and then Roland Garros, obviously slams. But as I said, it just depends how the season goes, because at times if you don't have as good of a results that you hoped for, then you need more matches, and it just depends really. How I will do on these tournaments, and we'll decide for the rest. Yes. Yeah, I mean, I have to admit, when I saw him, I was a bit nervous. I don't get to see Pete that often, and I was pleasantly surprised to see him watching my match. And it's a thrill, obviously, to see someone that I looked up to when I was a kid. And I think I tried too hard in the first set to impress him, and that has bounced back against me in a way. But it was really nice, and I went up to him and I thanked him for coming. Hopefully I'll get a chance to see him privately as well.
Last 3 questions.
Hey Novak, any tennis career is based on a series of important decisions, and you went with Jelena and Germany and certain coaching decisions. But if you had to say, in your incredible career, what, I don't know, that's 1, 2, or 3 decisions that you've made that have really made a difference in your career, what would that be?
It's a good question. I mean, I think different stages of my career had different, I think, circumstances and people that have affected me in a positive way, that have helped me to get to where I am today. I think I was very fortunate to have the opportunity very early in my career to work with quality people that are, first of all, people that cared about me. Of course, other than my family, you mentioned Jelena Gencic and Niki Pilic. Those are the people that have dedicated and devoted entire lives to tennis. People that know a lot about tennis, and they recognized my talent and my potential, and they were willing to help support me and my family, because obviously economics at those times were a great challenge and an issue for us. But they also worked free of charge, for a long time, because they just believed in my talent and that I will, become a world-class tennis player one day. So I from the very early stages of my career, I had that fortune to be surrounded with those people. And then, of course, as an individual athlete, you go through phases of your career and your development where sometimes you just have to react, and sometimes you have to plan in advance. And I think that what was very big for me, and my dad helped me a lot with that, is the preparation and always aiming for the best quality output and best quality environment and surrounding. Always very stimulative environment which allows me to maximize my potential. And so that's why I went, I think, early to Germany as well when I was 12, and kind of going back for school and using school breaks to spend time in Germany. That was probably one of the best decisions. But that was not made only from my side, it was from my parents and Jelena Gencic at the time, that was in a very good relationship with Niki Pilic, in whose academy I went first time when I was 12 and a half. So, those kind of, so to say, milestones in life have definitely shaped my career.
Richard?
Yeah, going back to the ATP finals, the decisions obviously have to be based on various things.
Yes.
In London, for 8 days, you get 17,000 spectators twice a day, even without Andy Murray. Is there any point in going somewhere that can't at least get somewhere near matching that attendance?
Well, that's a fair point. I think that actually last year, several months ago, actually, the last World Tour Finals wasn't as good attendance-wise as most of the other years. So that was also an indicator that maybe it's time to change, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see this end of this year, how is it going to be. But it has been a super successful event. London is one of the biggest, most popular cities in the world in general, but also for tennis. The city that has Wimbledon, and obviously because of Wimbledon you have tradition and history, and you have the culture of tennis. So people do nurture the culture of tennis, and that's why we have experienced some superstar events in O2 over the years. But I guess it comes down to whether we want to stay somewhere where it's very successful, which is a fair argument, obviously. Or you want to take chances in a way and travel the tournament that is supposed to be, if not the greatest event for promotion of tennis, then definitely one of the greatest. So, I guess that's what it comes down to. Of course, there are various factors, the economics and the city, the culture of sport, and various things. But I think that's probably the most important question.
That's one, Chris.
Novak, the last 9 months of his career for you, some of your best results in a while. It also kind of coincides with this period of tension in tennis politics. I'm just curious about two things. One, how much of a mental challenge is that to try to navigate those waters on the outside of tennis? And the second thing is why you want to spend this intellectual and mental energy or emotional energy on these topics at this stage of your career? Why take the risk of maybe?
Thank you for asking me that. It's a very good question. I mean, I tend to ask that myself as well. But I feel that it is my responsibility in a way as well as a top player to contribute to the sport in that way as well. And I take the role of member of a council and president of a council very seriously, and I try to contribute as best as I can. I mean, we all make mistakes, and it's not my natural environment, so to say, but I am ready to learn, and I'm open-minded, and because I care about the current generation and also the future generation and future of this sport. I really do. I think that sport is doing well, but it can also do better and better, as we go along. And if I, with my status and with my position in the world of sport and tennis, can influence that and positively, then why not? I mean, it gives me actually, yes, it takes away an energy and time, but I know I do it from the right place in my heart and with the right intent, and then I also receive a lot of energy for that, So I'm available, I'm responsive, and I try to communicate with everybody, and I feel like the current council, player council, is the best that I've been part of, and I've been part of several council groups in the last 7 years. And I'm really glad, because we need active participation from players in the end of the day, in order to not just fight for players, rights and position and so forth, but just work together with tournaments to create even a better world than it is today for world of tennis for all of us. So that's kind of a purpose-like mentality for me, really. It's more than just I really don't have any, financial incentive or any agenda for that matter. I would like to leave a legacy also behind, and I would like to contribute. That's all that is.
Thank you.
Thank you.